Welcome to Diecast Restos. I'm Jason and this is a Matchbox 74E Fiat Abarth. This was one of the later Lesney Matchbox models, released in 1982 and also made in England. The Lesney era cars were all trimmed the same as this, orange and red stripe tampos with Matchbox printed on the sides, bonnet and roof. The roof also had the number 45, while the front was trimmed with silver foil to the headlights and Fiat badge. As a child, I never had this livery. Instead, I had the famous Alitalia post-Lesney version. Today, I'll be creating a more realistic replica of the real thing. I bought the decals from the Rally Models shop and I'll leave a link below. I'll do the same with the wheels, which came from the Diecast Details shop on Facebook. I thought that these rims would make for a pretty accurate match to the ones worn on the real car. After its 1982 introduction, production of the casting moved to Macau in 1983, following Lesney's bankruptcy and subsequent buyout from Universal Toys. For 1984, the decal swapped to an Alitalia Rally livery based on that worn by the real Fiat 131 Rally in 1978 and 79. More on that shortly. The Abarth went out of production in 1985, though it did appear in 1988 under the Dinky brand, wearing a unique red, orange and yellow striped livery. It was also made under license in Bulgaria, receiving a number of unique body colours. The Fiat 131 made its debut at the 1974 Turin Motor Show. It was developed as a replacement for the 124. Additionally marketed as the Mirafiori after the Turin district where the cars were made, the 131 was initially available with the 1.3 or 1.6 litre engines handed down from the 124. It was front-engined and rear-wheel drive. The range consisted of 11 different models to begin with: the 2-door saloon, 4-door saloon or the familiarly station wagon. There were two trim levels, Normale, which had rectangular headlights and with wheel hubs, or the S for Special, possessing quad round headlamps, a different grille, chrome window surrounds and a host of other options. Initial sales were disappointing though, due to the ongoing global oil crisis and hyperinflation and strikes in Italy. But it began to perform well on the export market, including going on sale in the US in 1975 with a 1.8 litre engine, again from the 124. This story really begins in 1976 with the launch of the 131 Abarth Rally. 400 of these were built for homologation purposes in cooperation between Fiat, Bertone and Abarth. Bertone took 2-door body shells from the production line and fitted extended plastic wheel arches, a plastic bonnet and boot lid, and modified the metal structure to accept rear independent suspension. Cars were fully painted and trimmed, then sent back to Fiat where they received the Abarth mechanicals. The road cars received a 2-litre DOHC 16-valve carburetted engine producing 138 bhp, though it utilised the braking system from the far smaller Fiat 127. Competition cars had a dry sump and later fuel injection producing up to 237 brake horsepower. The 131 Abarth made its Works World Rally Championship debut in June 1976 at the Morocco Rally. 2 cars retired while Markku Alén finished 12th. It wasn't a great start for Fiat, but in the very next rally, the Thousand Lakes Rally of Finland, Alén took overall victory in his home event. It was Fiat's only win of the season, though 1977 would prove far more successful. 131s took 2nd at Monte Carlo and 4th in Sweden, before Alén won the Portuguese rally well ahead of rivals Ford. Fulvio Bocelli then won the New Zealand rally and Timo Salonen won the Rally of Canada. 131s took a clean sweep of the podium at home in San Remo. Jean-Claude Androuet took top spot. Fiat romped to the manufacturer's title with a win for their 6th different driver, Bernard Darniche, at the Tour de Corse. Until now, Fiat had raced in their distinctive navy blue with yellow accents Olio Fiat livery. For 1978, the then flag-carrying airline of Italy, Alitalia, sponsored the team with their timeless green, white and red livery. Defending Drivers' Cup champion Sandro Minari joined Fiat from Lancia, carrying the number 1 on his car. Munari's car is recreated with my rally models decals from that year's Portuguese rally. Fiat took their first win of the season at that event, though it was Markku Alén who took the victory. Munari retired on stage 21 with broken wheel studs. Walter Röhrl moved to Fiat from Opel full-time from 1978. He took his second ever rally win and his first of 6 for Fiat at the next event in Greece. Fiat dominated, with wins in Finland for Alén, Canada for Röhrl and Corsica for Darniche. Fiat retained the manufacturer's title, while Alén took the cup for drivers. 1979 was far less successful for the team, slipping behind both Ford and Datsun in the standings. They achieved 1 win that year, with Alén taking his 3rd home rally victory. Fiat were back on form for 1980, with Röhrl absolutely dominant. They'd lost the Alitalia livery in favour of a blue, navy and white Fiat wreath design. The German driver won in Monte Carlo, won in Portugal, won in Argentina, came second in New Zealand, then won in San Remo and finished as runner-up at the Tour de Corse. Meanwhile, Alén yet again took the Thousand Lakes glory in 1980. Alén would take the 131 Abarth's final and 20th overall rally victory at the 1981 Rally de Portugal. Despite this, Fiat ended the 1981 campaign in 6th position in the Manufacturers' Championship, behind winners Tolbert, Datsun, Ford, Opel and Audi. Fiat left the World Rally Championship after that season, leaving the sport with the 131 one of the most successful cars of the era. Meanwhile, with the production 131s, Fiat had introduced a facelifted Series 2 in 1978. New DOHC or twin-cam engines arrived, with these models badged Super Mirafiori. These had larger rectangle headlights, bigger rear lights and a new interior. A racing version launched that year that had the 4 round headlamps and produced 113 horsepower. New diesel models arrived too, with these cars also receiving the quad round lamps and a notable bulge in the bonnet to accommodate the taller engine. The Series 2 saw the Familiale renamed the Panorama, while the model was named the Brava and Super Brava in the US. Fiat experimented with a hybrid drive system on the 131 in 1979. The prototype featured a 903cc engine borrowed from a 127, detuned to 33 horsepower and mated to a 24 kilowatt DC electric motor. It had a regenerative braking system. Come 1981, and Fiat had updated the 131 to the 3rd series. They discontinued it in the US. Racing and sport models also ceased. New 1.4 and 1.6 litre engines were utilised in the Mirafiori versions, while the interiors were updated. A supercharged version of the 2 litre twin-cam engine was offered in low numbers that year, called the Volumetrico Abarth. Production of the saloon stopped in 1983, while the renamed estate, now called the 131 Maratea, remained in production until 1984. The 131 was replaced by the Fiat Regatta. During its lifespan, the 131 was also offered under different brands and names in other markets. In Spain, it was rebadged as a Seat 131. In Turkey, it was built as the Tofaş Murat 131. In Poland, it was built by FSO as the Polski Fiat 131. Complete knockdown versions have been built in as many as 13 further countries outside of Italy, with production surpassing 1.5 million units. So, with my Matchbox model, we are quickly approaching the end of the build. The reason I'm applying these 2 front Pirelli logos so late on is because I lost one. So I had to print out my own. They were so small and fiddly. Now let's put it back together with my custom wheels already attached to the base. I had to get all of that brown marker pen off the windows and polish them before returning them to the car. The black painted interior sits inside, with the base slotting in at the headlamps and secured at the back with a screw. So here was my Matchbox 74E Fiat Abarth, complete with complementary muddy brown sills and brown window plastics. This model marks the end of the Lesney era, but I prefer the post-Lesney Alitalia livery of the World Rally Championship winning 131. I therefore decided to pay homage to it with a custom piece, removing the marker pen, swapping out the basic wheels and providing it with a totally new livery. So let's see how it turned out. Now the Fiat 131 Abarth Rally is in one of its 3 proper liveries. This set recreates the car of Sandro Munari, then World Drivers' Champion, competing in the 1978 Rally de Portugal. While Munari retired from that particular event, it was won by another 131, driven by teammate Markku Alén. He'd go on to take the driver's title that year, and Fiat would win their second of 3 manufacturers' championships with the 131. These decals are a huge improvement on Matchbox's 1984 and 85 interpretations. I've displayed my personal, well played with Fiat Abarth in that same livery against this at the video outro. As always, let me know what you think of the casting, my efforts and my choices in the comments. And please leave a like if you enjoyed this production. Don't forget to subscribe for more classic customs. I've really loved this one. So all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.